I really want to chug jug with you. I would classify that as cringe.
Hello everyone, and this time it's not an animation analysis. We're bringing you something different to wrap up the year, or I guess in the instance of when I actually post this to start off the year, we're gonna be ranking Death Battle Season 9.
You almost said welcome back, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Anyways, so this season, I still stand by what I said last time, this being probably one of the best seasons of the show, if not the best. But yeah, it'll be fun to go back and talk about the episodes as they age, and still talk about the newer ones as well.
I guess for me it's debatable on the whole best season Death Battle thing.
Yeah, I know.
I don't agree with it.
Opinion is
At the same
always
time, I can see where you're
subjective,
coming
though.
from.
Opinion is always...
Except ours. Ours are always objective, and you should always listen to them, no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't listen to your favorite content creators, how can you be funny on the internet? Anyways.
Yeah, sheep.
And anyway, so let's go back. I guess kind of like a reflection of the overall season. Oh yeah, one more disclaimer. I'm not going to put in words because I can assume people will watch this video and definitely not skip every 5 seconds just to their favorite episodes. But for this one, we're not going to be looking at only the animation this time like we normally do for our animation analysis series. We're going to be talking about the episodes as a whole. So our opinion on the matchup, the analysis, the music, I guess even the verdicts in some instances. But yeah, we might be talking about other stuff related to it too, but we'll cross those bridges when we get to it. With that said, we'll begin. We have the tier maker here. We got S, A, B, C, D. This is the default one the tier maker came with, but I think it'll work.
Just basically think of it as peak to cringe.
Yeah, exactly. And this one, it's gonna, like we said, unlike how animation, we focus mostly on the overall quality of something for animation analysis. This one, we're absolutely letting our personal biases shine in this one. So be prepared to get angry at us in the comments, and please comment down your angry comments of how much you want us to die, because that's good for the YouTube algorithm.
And make sure it's all in Spanish.
Yeah, that way you probably won't get flagged by the bots. Probably. Anyways, we stalled this long enough. Let's start this. Starting off with the... Man, it feels like ages ago. Harley Quinn versus Jinx.
So, are we starting out with what tier we think to put him in? Probably should have asked this beforehand, but...
I think we can. Let's discuss the episode before we put a placement for it. Unless we get to a certain episode, we already know where we're gonna put them. But anyways, Harley Quinn versus Jinx. Now, okay, I'm gonna be honest here. I do not care about League of Legends, and I will never care about League of Legends. My younger brother plays it enough and screams so much when he plays it that I'm just fed up with it.
I can vouch for his brother screaming. I just don't know if it's over League of Legends or not.
It's sometimes Valorant, but it's mostly League of Legends. But as for how I'd rank this episode personally, there are a lot of good things going for this episode. I think it's fun. I like it. It's a fun one.
I think it's one of the best premieres that was done. I honestly like it more than stuff like Dante versus Bayonetta.
Yeah, that's a very steep statement, but I can absolutely see it because this one, the fight had a lot of personality in it.
The expression work, the fluidity.
The random bit where they just started teleporting because of Jinx's tablet. And the whole the cartoony segment where they're stuck in midair before they eventually fall. Which leads into a really cool climax and finale.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the callback for Joker versus Sweet Tooth at the end, but this time the whole get close.
It just doesn't work.
Just doesn't work. Yeah, that was cool.
Hey, person with a gun, why don't you kill me up close, huh? No.
Nah. Okay, so but where would I place it though?
D tier. all things considered. I'm joking, obviously. A tier, I think.
Yeah, A tier's a very fair placement for this one. It's a good episode. Yeah, it's like it gets everything done well in a good manner. Anyways, next up we have a Scarlet Witch versus Zatanna.
Okay, so I don't share the same sentiment as others appear to with this episode. I think this episode is still amazing. Like, it looks so good.
Yeah, no, I actually agree with that. Like, I distinctly remember when we went back and, like, analyzed solely the animation for this one, we gave it 10 out of 10, because visually, like, everything the animation does visually is stellar.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I went back to look at it a couple times. There are some issues here and there, like, the pacing's, like, kinda off, like especially how Wanda just loses it after Zatanna throws 3 universes at her. I mean that kind of makes. I mean, in hindsight, if someone throws 3 universes at you, I'd be pissed too. So, but yeah, this one was a fun one. I'd honestly put. I know people are like, oh, Marvel versus DC, but on the bright side, we have not had a lot of Marvel versus DC this season, like, at all. Like, actually, not at all.
Still had them a fair bit individually.
Like, we had Marvel and DC separately, but this and, yeah, only one episode in the second half is Marvel versus DC. We've only had 2 Marvel versus DC this entire season, actually. Holy shit.
Oh man! I also just want to say, in the fight, Zatanna is a ton of fun to watch.
Oh yeah, Zatanna's great. Like, I highly recommend checking out like some of the stuff she's in, especially like DC, the animated universe. Like, she is so much fun. She's a great character. But yeah, personally, I honestly like this one a lot. Like, I don't go back to rewatch it often, but I honestly want to put this one in like A as well.
I'd say high A. I like it quite a bit more than Jinx versus.
Yeah, I'll give it that. It's fair. Oh boy. Tanjiro versus Jonathan.
Okay, so I went back to this like a few days ago, like before we planned to do this ranking. I don't think I like it that much.
Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, you did mention how you're not a big fan of JoJo anyway, so.
I'm not a big fan of JoJo. I don't really care about Demon Slayer. The fight had a lot of moments that just felt awkward and kind of ruined it for me.
Yeah, but I'm on the opposite end of this, because, like, as you know, I had this at, like, this was very high ranking for being one of my favorite and most wanted matches for a while. And personally, I think they delivered everything that I wanted from this episode. And I'm perfectly fine with that. I know the one main criticism people bring up is, oh, Jonathan's tears at the end are cartoony, and like, yeah, I get that. But at the same time, the cartoony tears, they do cartoony tears in JoJo sometimes. And yes, in certain instances, they will play it straight and make it more like properly dramatic instead of goofy. I honestly think it's fine here. I appreciate what they were going for. Like, the fact that they made an effort at all, and this is like the whole like, what is it, like, emotional ending. They actually improved on it in a certain other episodes later on this season. But yeah, like, also Tanjiro's analysis is just kind of boring, really. It ends really weirdly too with the Inosuke joke for some reason, but as someone that has Jonathan as his favorite character in JoJo, and I love Part 1, like, Jonathan's analysis is phenomenal, and I'm, with the exception of the Tina's joke at the end, but I really love the analysis.
I can't say the analysis really stuck out to me.
Yeah, I can
understand either of them.
Like, cause yeah, if you don't know either series, the analysis would usually try to like get you to like try checking them out or something like that, you know?
Yeah, and I didn't really feel that way about them. But at the very least, I do have some positives to say about it. I fucking love the ending. Like, not the emotional bit at the end, just Jonathan beating the shit out of Tanjiro and that scream.
Oh yeah. Absolute shout out. Like, the voice acting.
Oh, with the sword in his chest.
Yeah, Jonathan. I'm saying it. I don't think I got a chance to say it back when we did the animation analysis. Maybe I did, but I don't remember. But I'm saying this now. Benji Buckley's performance as Jonathan in this episode, I love it more than Johnny Young Bosch's portrayal in the official English dub of JoJo. Like, he does a phenomenal job. And if you know me, Johnny Young Bosch is my favorite English voice actor out there, so that says a lot.
He watches this video. Hi, Johnny.
There's no way Johnny's watching, but if he is, I love you, man. Anyways, so if we, like, meet in the middle, I guess I'd say, like, high B tier.
B tier. Yeah.
Yeah, like, there's, again, this is actually my personal favorite, like, surely out of bias, but yeah, there are definitely issues in it. But, oh yeah, one more thing to mention, like, similar to the finale, like, the reveal that Jonathan dodges the blade while still getting stabbed by it 2 inches off the lung is the most JoJo thing. It's so amazing. Alright, next up, Thor versus Vegeta.
This is another episode that sort of turned a negative light to, honestly. It's just... There's a lot of things that I'm not a big fan of. I think overall the fight is kind of boring aside from the ending.
Yeah, like, the
Thor's
fight
voice
does
actor
what
is
it...
fine. Oh.
Like, yeah, like, the fight and... Okay, analysis is okay. Like, as we all know, comic book and manga episode analysis, the editing is always phenomenal for them.
And they somehow made Thor faster again.
Yeah. There's that too, and just, like, it was fine. Vegeta's felt fine, but kind of weirdly paced in a way, if that makes sense.
I guess so.
But, like, yeah, the animation, it just does what it needs to do. It doesn't really, like, go out of its way to, like, do something really cool. Like, the most I can absolutely say is, like, Vegeta, like, using instant transmission to dodge the God Blast and then point-blank final flashing, which we can see from the outer space. Like, that's probably one of the best parts of the episode.
I will say the animation as a whole plays into Vegeta's strengths in canon, because every single... Well, most of them typically have Vegeta dominating his opponent up until the end. That's just where Vegeta shines in a fight.
It's being really cool until he just jobs.
Actually, yes.
They really should have had Vegeta pointing to himself in the fight. But yeah, like, overall, like, it's fine. I think... while I did mention, like, the final flash you could see from space being, like, the best moment, I think, honestly speaking, my favorite moment is, like, after that, when this music slowly fades out, and you think, oh, Vegeta actually won, and then Thor reaches out from the smoke and grabs Vegeta by the face, the music kicks in, and we get one of the coolest hand-drawn shots of Thor just absolutely fucked up, but is still alive and pissed. It's so great.
If only they didn't ruin all the dialogue.
Yeah, and...
It's another one of my big things. Not going into voice actors.
Because, like,
all but, like, 2 lines are references.
Yeah, that's a similar problem, like, I guess, like, Obi-Wan had all the way back in Season 7, how all Obi-Wan talked in were prequel memes. Like, that's... Every single one of his lines was a prequel meme. Yeah, like...
Going into the other thing, the voice actors. I think Thor is fine. A bit low energy.
It's just kind of interesting, because it's the same voice actor from Thor vs. Wonder Woman, but his performance in Thor vs. Wonder Woman was surprisingly a lot stronger than this one.
Yeah. And...
Like, you compared the Feel Heaven's Wrath line from both versions, and the Thor vs. Wonder Woman one takes it by a landslide.
Yeah. And Lanny, like
we all
I've gone over this several times.
Yeah,
and I'll keep it short this time. I love Dragon Ball Z Abridged. I love the cast. I think they should stay in Abridged. I don't like them outside of Abridged. Yeah. They just take me out of it every time.
I know people always say, like, Lanny's the exception because his Vegeta voice is, like, as iconic as Christopher Sabat's, but yeah. Like, as much as I like this episode and it does a lot of cool things, I want to put this one in, like...
It looks good, at least.
Looks good. I want to say, like, B...
high C, low B is what I'd say.
Okay, let's leave it in C for now. We can change it up in a bit. Okay, next up, Omni-Man just killing Homelander. Okay, this one's another interesting episode to talk about. Because I remember how literally the moment this was announced, there was a lot of, like, mixed opinions. Because while this was a popular matchup, everyone knows it's one of the most one-sided in the show's history. But there's also just, like, I know a lot of people wanted Omni-Man versus Bardock, but...
How do you feel the fight holds up?
Okay, the setup for the fight is phenomenal. Like, it feels like both shows, like, exist in the same universe, and I love how they handle it. And just, like, the character interactions are the cherry on the top, too. Like, Homelander being, you know, his little egotistical, boisterous, and trying to be intimidating, while Omni-Man is just this, he keeps, like, a stoic facade, and he just doesn't care for the most part, until he finds out that Homelander killed his wife, and then, you know.
I like the way he sees it before they acknowledge it.
Yeah, like right before the whole, like, Omni-Man starts going into, like, Homelander starts going into monologue, you just have, like, Nolan just looks to the left a little bit. I think just, like, overall, it's still a fun episode. I know one of the main complaints people have about it is, like, oh, it's too short. But
that's one of my main complaints, honestly.
I get that, but again, it is a hand-drawn episode, so I'd imagine that they could have made it maybe a little longer, but at the same time, that would have taken more time. But another thing I think that helps it is, like, how a lot of people point out, the only reason Omni-Man's dragging out the fight is to make Homelander suffer for what he did to his wife. And the moment Homelander threatens his son, the only family he has left now, that's when he's done playing and just kills Homelander on the spot. Albeit with one of the most violent and fucked up finishers in the show.
I mean, it fits.
Yeah, it fits. I can understand the complaints people have, but yeah, it's a good episode, all things considered. A lot of good stuff going for it. Like, I'm completely convinced that the fight went on a little bit longer, no one would complain about it. But yeah. Analysis segments were fun too, but I guess, like, one of the main issues is because they had to, like, try keeping it as spoiler-free for what both Invincible and The Boys hadn't adapted yet.
But yeah. Give a description of how I felt as the animation as a whole. And I don't mean this in a bad way at all. It felt like a lot of white noise to me. That's probably because, again, I'm not really into these series.
Yeah.
But,
oh, fuck.
Again, I'm not saying it's bad.
My mouse has a stupid function. If you move it a certain way, it just automatically goes back. I don't know how to turn that shit off. And I don't know how to actually trigger it. It just randomly happens. Anyways, back to where we were.
Like, I would say A, but, like, not the highest of A's.
Like,
yeah, about there.
Honestly, middle of here. It's fine. Yeah, episode gets a lot good, but yeah. Magneto versus Tetsuo. This one was... like Omni-Man vs. Homelander, a lot of people came in knowing, oh, Magneto's gonna fucking murder a child. And he did, but not the way people thought it was gonna go.
Yeah, he shot him in the head, he didn't crush him.
Yeah, there's that, but, like... yeah, but, like... Okay, analysis, I think the analysis for these two were, like, pretty well done overall. I liked it. As for, like, the fight, honestly, to this day, I love this episode. Like, remember how I mentioned, like, Tandra vs. Jonathan kind of went for, like, the more dramatic, like, tragic ending, but didn't do it as well because, like, the slightly goofy? Yeah, this is where they fix that issue.
Oh, yeah.
Like, first the fight's good, then then it becomes great, and then the moment, like, Tetsuo fully loses control, that's when the episode becomes phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. I still don't like how the giant baby thing looks.
Yeah,
though.
like the giant baby looks disgusting and kind of off, but but honestly, I absolutely want to put this one in S tier because like it is such a good episode.
Yeah, I'm fine with S tier.
Yeah. Next up, Hercules versus Sun Wukong, or Heracles versus.
We never actually covered this in an animation analysis for some reasons.
Yeah, we did. It's just actually I don't remember if we didn't cover it for like similar reasons than them, or we were just like I think I was just lazy that day. I don't know, but our thoughts on I think we did briefly cover our thoughts on it in like a Boba Fett versus Predators analysis. I think we said it was like it was a fine episode overall. Like, you know, let's talk about it now.
7 out of 10.
Yeah,
like,
7 out of 10. Yeah, 7 out of 10's fine. Like, I know a lot of people are praising it and saying it's the best episode of the season and all that. And
I've never heard anyone say that. I've never heard anyone say that. Where are you getting these metrics from?
My sources that I made it I'm joking. I do remember I did see a lot of people say this was the best episode of the season. I don't want to go through the Discord messages from like months ago to try and find who said that. But also, yeah, like 7 out of 10, like I want to say like B, like here, honestly. Yeah, it's good, but at the same
Chondro versus Jonathan, honestly.
I think it's around sure. It's like they could have probably done more with it. Like the analysis segments were really, really good because they weren't talking about like video games or anime. No, they were talking about like actual myths, and this felt like a really fun history lesson in a way. Like their analysis were like really fun just overall. I think it also like this one was like also was benefits from like the new format where we don't do the fighter end quotes anymore. How the way these two analyses end, it works out without an end quote is, though I guess nowadays that's how all the writing has to go. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, fine episode. Yeah. Not as hasn't aged as well as I thought it would. I really think they could have gone more with it, but it's fine for what it's worth.
Yeah.
Okay, Boba Fett versus Predator.
Looking back on this fight, I felt like we were too nice on this.
Yeah, we were definitely very nice, way too nice on it. Like, you know what? I'm gonna talk about the main issue. The physics and appearance of the Predator's dreadlocks are so confusing. Like one moment they look fine. The next moment they're just all stiff. Like they're not animated at all. And then after Predator takes off his helmet, they become like thin as spaghetti noodles.
The choreography is just kind of boring.
Yeah, it's just kind of. It's just
like I said about Omnia versus Homelander. This fight feels like a lot of white noise to me, but this time it's not in a good way.
Yeah, I like Predator. Predator's a really cool like alien like creature, but it's like,
Yeah, I love John Yao.
Yeah, everyone loves John Yao, but still. Honestly, I think my favorite part of the episode was the line near the end of Predator's analysis where they point out if you make Arnold Schwarzenegger shit his fucking pants, you're forced to be reckoned with, or like something like that. I mean, like, I like that. That's a funny line. And then it gets ruined immediately after by Boomstick saying a goddamn sexual tyrannus. I don't know what the hell he was trying to go for there.
I don't either, and I don't want to think about it.
Yeah, it's like... Yeah, like, definitely one of the lower ends of this season, and there's a certain other fight we'll talk about when it comes to, like, lower end. Excalibur versus Raiden, the bonus episode. A lot of people usually count this one as part of the season.
I don't see why people don't. It's treated as a regular episode, just with a different sort of analysis to it.
Yeah, honestly, my favorite part of this is the part where the two start arguing on who would actually win.
I think it's just fun to see Wiz and Boomstick like this.
It's just like the Boomstick doing the calc for Raiden's speed, and then was like, oh, you want calc off? Sure, let's go. And then he calcs Excalibur's speed, who's just slightly slower. That was just good.
As for the fight, I love the sense of speed in it.
Oh yeah, like the sense of speed's really well done. Like honestly, I really like the fight. There's a lot I do love about Excalibur versus Raiden as an episode. I know this kind of does suffer from a similar issue of like a lot of Raiden's lines being just Metal Gear Rising themes, but I think it's fine.
Infinite ammo.
Or it's like the survival of the fittest, the rules of nature. But yeah.
Apparently that's out of character.
Yeah, I can understand, but honestly, I want to put this one in like C, honestly. It's fine.
C? No! But low A, at minimum.
B?
I'll settle for mid B.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's probably going to be other mid-B episodes in here anyways, but...
Oh yeah, I don't think we've ever talked about it up until now, but a lot of the music...
Oh yeah, just...
All the music for this stuff is really good.
Yeah, like, let's just go through it. Like, Harley vs. Jinx, really fun. Mad Lab Riot, really fun. Spellaholics Anonymous really helps the fight. Breathless Blades, still one of my favorite instrumental tracks. Really has, like, both JoJo and Demon Slayer themes that stand out. Princess of Pride is fucking amazing.
It's Viking rock, I love it. I didn't know I needed that kind of music in my life.
Yeah, and then Diabolical Invincible Me is literally just another Omni-Man theme with like barely anything for Homelander because Homelander fucking dies. Magneto vs. Tetsuo, I love the whole techno synthwave the song has, like to imitate like older music since Akira is a fairly old show.
Oh yeah, like.
Yeah, Hercules versus Hero's Journey. Hero's Journey is really good. Like the fact they combine both like Greek style music and what is it like Eastern style music for the fight. Really cool touch. Then If It Bleeds, it's fine. It's definitely better as a backing track, but it does give like It does give like the whole feel of like a cat and mouse chase, like in a horror movie, which fits considering Predator. And of course, Ryan versus Excalibur's track.
The Metal Lotus.
Metal Lotus.
I fucking love it.
Yeah, and I want to point out something a lot of people agree on is how like Metal Lotus sounds. Like, you don't hear a lot of stuff from Warframe, but I to be fair, I don't know what Warframe music really sounds like. But, like, it mostly sounds like Raiden, but a lot of people point out that kind of makes sense, because it's like Raiden is the boss that Excalibur needs to beat. It's similar to, like, how all those tracks in how the boss tracks in Metal Gear Rising fit the boss. Raiden's the boss in this instance, Excalibur needs to beat him. I think it fits in that instance. Next up, okay, now we enter the second half. James Bond versus John Wick.
I haven't gone back to this episode, like, at all.
I went back to it a couple of times. I think it's a fun one. I like it a lot. Like, the analysis for both is pretty cool, and it's just fun overall. I want to put it in, like, top of B, honestly. I think one of the main issues for me is like kind of the models, because like James's model comes from a fairly old game, so it's not as polished. And John Wick's, they just took the what is it? They took Keanu Reeves' character from Cyberpunk's head and just placed it on a custom body, and they didn't do the sizes properly, so his head looks a little too big.
They should have just taken the Fortnite.
Yeah, they should have just done the Fortnite model. We don't care if it looks.
And I'm being
goofy.
serious about that.
It's
too.
funny.
Not being serious about it too.
Yeah. But like, yeah, it does a good job. Like, shows John Wick's skill at the assassination, as well as like all of James's like most significant gadgets. Like, you got the exploding pen, the laser watch, the cigarette rocket launcher, of course his car. It's we got a lot of stuff from it. And next, and Secret Service, really fun, like Old Spice like track. It's a really great track, honestly.
Fine.
Alright, next up we got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson versus Apocalypse.
We had Dwayne in 2 thumbnails this season.
I still don't understand why they bothered with Dwayne in the thumbnail, but they didn't go for, like, Oscar Isaac for, like, Apocalypses. Like, I would have been fine with that. But no. Also, I love how the background of the thumbnail has a pyramid because they both originate from Egypt. Okay, as for, what else? On fight, okay, this is one of the fights I went back to and I ended up liking a lot more than usual.
Okay, here's my thing.
Yeah?
I think it's just really boring.
Yeah, I can understand the boring parts, but I think it's fine, honestly. I think one thing the thing I gotta absolutely praise in the episode is, like, just the background, just, like, the setup, as well as just, like, the overall area of where they fight looks phenomenal.
Oh yeah, the setting is just fucking amazing. It looks so
I want
good.
to know how much time how many days, maybe even months did it take for them to just, from the ground up, make all of the, like, models for Black Adam's, for, his country. Like, holy hell.
About an hour in Blender.
Maybe, but yeah, like, I go back to this one, I honestly want to say, like, B for this one. Like,
I think B is fine.
I want to put it here, honestly, like, top of B. It's a really fun one when I go back to watch it. And I love, the track absolutely grew on me. I didn't care for it at first, but after listening to it a couple of times, I really, really like it.
I will say, I really like Apocalypse in this. He actually feels like a terrifying threat.
You're... Like, oh yeah, like, yeah, it sells it a lot, like, especially, like, when Black Adam grabs the Death Seed by punching through his chest, and, like, the wisdom of Solomon tells him to destroy it, and Apocalypse reads his mind and goes, "Your counsel will serve you no longer, Death Adam." Yeah, and, like, again, after taking the big Shazam blast near the end, and just regenerating, and your hubris has failed you. It's like, yeah, Apocalypse was just, like, in control for a majority of the fight, and it shows. Yeah, it's like, yeah, this is definitely one of the episodes that gets better over time. Next up, we got a good one. Trunks versus Silver.
S tier.
Yeah, S tier, like, top of S tier, honestly. Yeah, like,
yes.
This episode gets so many things right. Like
the animation, the choreography, the music.
Like, the only downside I want to say is like the pacing of the analysis for Trunks to them. But then again, like, considering Xenotrunks is a lot more confusing, it's forgivable. Also, they have 2 Yu-Gi-Oh jokes in Trunks' analysis, which makes it amazing. But yeah,
well, like, I love so much about this, and I think my love has only grown for this. It's my favorite episode for a reason. It's staying there.
Like, okay, I might have asked you, like, this back when we did the animation analysis, but then again, this is, like, we're kind of going over things again. Like, you did mention how you're not a fan of them using abridged voice actors for the characters. What was your opinion on Trunks' performance in this one?
I don't mind Kaiser here. I was taken out of it by the crap baskets line, honestly. But at the same time, his deliveries for the other... Like, his other lines are solid.
Yeah, Kaiser is a good V. I think, if I recall correctly, Kaiser's done, like, actual, like, professional voice acting stuff with, like, Crunchyroll and Funimation since...
Yeah, he is an actual voice actor,
yeah,
like, outside of a bridge.
Yeah, he does a good job. And, of course, we also gotta talk about Bryce Papenbrook. Oh, I'm sorry, I mean, Esu...
He's still on stage.
Esu, I still don't know how to say that properly, voicing Silver. Man, he sounds so much like the official voice.
Yeah, it's almost as if they got a sound alike.
But yeah, like, joking aside, Bryce does a really good job as Silver. I know a lot of people prefer, like, some of Silver's old voices, but I think Bryce is fine.
It's fine. It's a fine voice actor for him. I don't mind him. I'm also gonna say, I'm still surprised at the ending that Silver fucking won.
Oh yeah, like, everyone, like, I thought for sure Xenotrunks was gonna win this, but nah. But then, I guess this kind of makes sense in hindsight, because, like, you remember the last time we had Archie, was Archie Sonic, and he lost against Flash? But but it turns out that the episode was supposed to be like in the first half of like season 7, I believe, but it got delayed. But because of that, they did some more research and realized, wait, there's a certain thing Wally can do that makes him stronger than Archie Sonic. Meaning that basically, without the stupid brokenness that is the Speed Force, Wally would have lost. So yeah, so it's kind of fair that Trunks kind of lost, all things considered, because he doesn't have the brokenness that is the Speed Force. But yeah, that kind of speaks volumes if a Trunks couldn't win against Silver. But yeah, like there's a lot of great stuff in the episode. Oh wait, we gotta talk about the track, Edge of Tomorrow.
I fucking love it. You didn't give me. Yeah. You just sort of jumped into OST when I wasn't done talking.
Oh, sorry.
A lot of the action in the fight. I'm gonna go on a tiny bit longer.
Alright, go on.
But a lot of the action in the fight is amazing. Like Silver destroying the fucking moon, redirecting the triple beams, Trunks' transformation to the god form.
Oh wait,
key sword.
Yeah. Oh wait, speaking of the moon, I just remembered my favorite part of the fight: Trunks weaponizing Gotcha.
Hey, he's getting better rolls than I am right now.
And I just love how he just looks at it.
The whole climax got me on the edge of my seat. First off, Silver's a lovable dork in this. I love him.
It's like, what's his reaction to getting sent into the time chamber? It's like, I don't think we're in
Mobius anymore. And then he legitimately turns "it's no use" into such a badass line.
So imagine dying, the last thing you hear.
My seat.
The last thing you hear is "it's no use." Yeah, like
it kept me on the edge of my seat. Like holy shit! And then the realization hit me. Silver won.
Yeah, like I'm gonna be honest. Like even to the very end, I was still not sure. Like even when the sword disappeared to Trunks and he caught it, and like, oh, Trunks is just gonna like throw it right at Silver regardless. No, Silver depowers him, and he gets impaled on his own weapon and is wiped out of existence.
I think that's the first and only time he ever uses his psychokinesis on Trunks directly. It's always on his attacks that he did it on before.
Yeah, but this time Trunks is busy with the full power of the key sword being turned on him, which was the perfect opportunity.
And at the end, like after the death and stuff, there's no like quirky one-liner or anything like that.
No, it's just setting
He's just silent when he
Silver
returns home.
the Hedgehog just beat Trunks.
This episode is a fucking 10 out of 10 to me.
Yeah, same here.
It has flaws, but I don't care about them.
There are flaws, yeah, but I can forgive all the flaws solely because they name dropped Seto Kaiba.
Okay, anyways.
Oh, SpongeBob versus SpongeBob versus Aquaman.
I still don't like this episode.
You know what I think about the episode? It kind of feels like a Spite episode, despite not being one. It's a weird thing to say. It's like, oh my god, we all know SpongeBob is just gonna murder here.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I get it. I know a lot of people say it takes you out of the immersion when it's like, he's about to die. Yeah, but. I want to put it in like low A, honestly. At the same time, they get a lot of stuff for SpongeBob like great. Like if you watch SpongeBob, you're gonna at least like the episode for all the references they put in. Like him making the hall monitor face and voice.
Like okay, those are cool. I like a realistic Aquaman.
Hyper realistic Aquaman.
Aside from that, I dislike this episode a lot. I'd say C, but I know there's no like changing your mind on this.
I'm willing to put it in like here, honestly, or honestly maybe above Black Adam versus Apocalypse.
Sure.
Okay, that's fair. Oh boy, Jason Voorhees versus Michael Myers.
We got 2 characters with the name of Jason this season. That's kind of funny.
Huh. Wait, we got... Who's the other one?
Jason Bourne?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Anyways, okay. This one is definitely the really mixed one, a lot of people point out. I will say it's probably better than Boba Fett vs. Predator, but that's not as really saying much, all things considered. Like, I was
We
definitely
rarely get the two characters fighting. We just focus on this random person.
Which I get, like, oh, like
which
horror
is
movies.
telling of horror movies, because they all do that.
Yeah, but at the same time, when you kind of realize when the fighting happens in the horror movies, like Freddy vs. Jason, we actually see Freddy vs. Jason fight. We don't cut to the other characters or focus on them. We just focus on Jason and Freddy duking it out.
Yeah.
That's I really want to give the score higher solely for the fact that they mentioned Dead by Daylight and we got Michael Myers, but yeah, it's definitely is not
really
a better
underwhelming.
episode. Like, there's others. You know what? This just reminds me of like how I remember in the VC pointing out like how I unironically kind of liked the episode solely because of the Dead by Daylight jokes, and one person jokingly snapped me. Sam's like, if they announce Kazuya versus Wesker and then they use Wesker's Dead by Daylight model, you'd love the episode. And I'm like, yes.
Kazuya versus Wesker?
Kazuya versus Wesker, yeah.
Why that?
I don't know. It's something about evil CEOs using powers, but it's a dumb episode idea. I mean, I'd be fine with this solely for Kazuya not sugarcoating it and obliterating Wesker, but still.
Oh my god.
Watch as Wesker's analysis is 7 minutes long. Anyways, we're getting a little off topic. Sauron versus Lich King.
I'm gonna say this right now. I still don't understand the hype for this episode.
I think that's the thing that makes this episode shine. There wasn't a lot of hype for it unless like you were rooting for like Sauron, because Sauron's a fairly popular villain despite having like 8 minutes of screen time in the Lord of the Rings movies. It's just like, at the same time, it's like, and I don't think a lot of people really care about World of Warcraft, especially since Blizzard sucks, but you know. But so I don't know, like, this fight is just like visually one of the best ones in the show.
It looks good, and it's like genuinely jank free, aside from one shot where one of the characters looks wide.
And like, I guess like Lich King floating in that one part, which works considering I think that's one of the weird movement things, but I could be wrong. I don't care about the World of Warcraft, and I never will, but yeah, honestly, I'm putting this one in like S, like right behind Trunks versus Silver, really. Like this, like that's a thing that helped the episode. A lot of people were going into this one with like little to no expectations, so it just blew everyone's minds with how good it was, with how well it sells both characters. Is just, man, like I went into this one with only Sauron knowledge because he is one of my favorite antagonists. But like, holy
Never
shit.
heard you talk about him before this episode.
I mean, I don't talk about all of my favorite antagonists too much because I got a lot of them, but yeah, like Sauron, he is just so cool. And like, the shot of him, Arthas using the blizzard to like hide himself, and then Sauron gets rid of the blizzard by using the One Ring and erupting a volcano. It is just... Next up, and actually, before we move on to the next one, let's talk about the music track for the last three real quick. Ocean Man for Splendor vs. Aquaman was kind of... It works for the fight, you don't really bother wanting to listen to it outside of it. Same thing for Jason versus Myers, but One King to Rule Them All for Sauron versus Lich King.
I have not listened to it on its own.
It's fine. It's a good track. Definitely heightened by the fight, but yeah, I love this episode. Okay, next up. Oh boy, Deku versus Asta.
I feel like this fight got worse for me on a rewatch, but at the same time, I can't really say what got worse about it.
Yeah, I mentioned this before. I think I mentioned this before, but like I read through Black Clover after the episode, and like, wow, this episode just does not like Asta, even though he won. Like, there's I think like the major issue with like it's visually fine, but are a lot of pacing issues. Like, why does the whole like Detroit Smash segment took up way too much time?
To be honest, I thought that was funny, and I liked Asta's reaction to it.
Oh yeah, I don't know what a Detroit is, but I've had enough of it.
No, that's not what I was talking about. You just cut me off.
I was like, wait, are you talking about like the first time it happens, and then Asta realizes it's like, no, he uses Black Whip, and then Asta realizes he's not using magic.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Cutting me off.
Yeah, like, that's good. Like, Asta's reaction there and voice performance is really good. Just like Crack 2 just really works considering his vocal performances in both sub and dub, but like, yeah. Like,
probably my favorite portion of the episode. As weird as it is to say, like, that interaction I just really like.
Yeah, I was like, wait, are you not using magic? I think that's fine overall. As for, like, what else I think is, I want to bring up to, like, highlight is, like, a lot of people pointed this out, but it really, the whole final clash, there's a lot of issues with it. Like,
it's dumb. It doesn't work. It breaks itself.
Okay, the lead-up is good. Like, not all the lead-up. The first part of the lead-up, where Deku quotes All Might from All Might vs. Might Guy, that's good. And, like, visually it looks fine, too. But then, everything after that.
Why does Asta go down?
Not yet.
Apparently,
like, we'll talk about that part of it. Like, before that, Asta just random, like, after Deku, you wanted my best, that whole bit, Asta gives, like, a fairly weak scream, which is kind of odd considering the episode loves pointing out how much he likes doing that. And it's just, like, the whole Leave shadow, that one's fine. But then the actual shout is kind of weak, and then they clash, and then for some reason both of them are slammed down.
Why is Deku still in the air? Why does Deku die, and how is it not well portrayed at all?
Okay, that's another thing. Like, before I do, like, okay, the storyboard's like, okay, after they were slammed down, according to the storyboards, the explosion was supposed to, like, cave in the arena and cause, like, a crater. And that's the part where Asta falls down. So, like, basically they're ground level where they were originally, except in this instance they just pushed this ground down even further. But that was not portrayed well because they did not animate that, presumably due to time constraints. And then, yeah, like Deku, I did it. And then he just dies. And then Asta stabs him in the further, desecrating the corpse without knowing it, and Deku ends up in a Family Guy pose. And
that's the best thing about it.
And then take that, Detroit.
I like that line, honestly.
I think, and then also Mr. Satan at the end is great. Mr. Satan at the end.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that. I fucking love that. This also proves it's in the same universe.
Just like the first frame we get of Hercule being so full, he just is flabbergasted when he sees what Asta can do, and then books
he just books it.
Yeah, but like, okay, I think
an audible laugh out of me. I like that.
Yeah, but like the main issue with the finisher is not just like the outer contact, but a lot of people pointed this out. This felt like Deku was supposed to win this one. Because, like, Deku's whole lead-up is a lot stronger to the final clash compared to Asta's side of things. But then, like, what is it? Like, the music starts, like, fading out, and with what they have for the music fading out, they could have easily done, like, an ending where Deku won. But then, like, after I did it, you have Asta getting back up, like, with a couple of random scratches he did not have on him earlier. And then pull the sword part. That I feel like they added that like kind of last minute.
I guess so. Anyways, the music.
Oh yeah. Okay. Then I'm gonna say it now. "Strongest Alive" is my favorite track this season, though. I love this song.
My favorite is still Edge of Tomorrow, but I can definitely see it.
Like there's cues of all. There's like, I think my best way to put it is like, not only is there like elements from both Mighty as well as Marvel for, I think it was the Marvel for All. But yeah, there's not only cues from that, but the way it sounds like it could be a Black Clover opening, but it's done with like in My Hero Academia style. It's a really unique blend. I love it. But yeah, for the episode itself, like, it has definitely gone down for me. I want to put it in like top of C.
Yeah.
It's there's definitely issues with, like, I've listened to a lot of the issues from a good friend of mine, like, like Morley, you remember Gem, yeah?
Who?
Carbonated Gem.
No, but I know them.
Yeah, she's a big Black Clover fan, and she was not happy with how Asta was portrayed at all. And like, I'm gonna put her words. She said that the episode felt like it was sucking Deku's dick a lot. And I just distinctly remember pointing out, yeah, you can say that, but at the same time, that dick sucking wasn't very strong if Deku dies in the Family Guy pose. Anyways, and now we get to the finale, Gogeta versus Vegito.
I was hyped for this, and I think that hype kind of boiled into what I thought of the fight. The world was just kind of bland.
It sure was a fight.
It definitely was a fight.
Yeah, it happened. It looked pretty. I guess if you like Dragon Ball, it'll tick the boxes. Did it tick the boxes for you, Immortal?
I suppose so, and I think it would also tick the boxes for you if you watch Dragon Ball, maybe.
I think.
But overall, like,
I think it kind of suffers like the same issue like Black Adam versus Apocalypse does. It feels like way too generic of an episode, especially considering this is like a finale. Like, even some of the other like arguably like worse finales, like Hulk versus Broly, Deadpool versus Pinkie Pie, I guess subjectively, like Virgil versus Sephiroth, you could at least feel something from them. This one, I did not feel anything at all.
Same.
Vocal performances.
At the very least, it didn't make me feel upset like Hulk vs. Broly did. I just still think this is the better Dragon Ball finale.
Yeah, and like, what else is there? Like, vocal performances, they got the Goku Black's VA from like Goku Black vs. First Class to do Goku, and I think he does a pretty fine job at it.
Wait, they did?
Yeah, they got him. Who was it? Was it Prof Crank? I don't remember. They did Asta too, actually, this season. But anyways, yeah, like,
I know they get Lanny, but not Masako. But in the end, I'm also happy because I don't like Masako's Goku.
Masako's Goku Masako's Goku is like, sounds a lot closer to the original Japanese voice compared to like Sean Steen Smells. And again, like the whole issue with like what is it, like Lonnie, but at the same time, like Lonnie's Vegeta voice is fine to me, so it didn't bother me as much. And to be fair, like the way, I will also give it props, like the way they integrate the voice acting together, one's not overpowering the other too much, but at the same time, it sounds like a unique voice and not just like they're playing the two voices side by side. Yeah, like, yeah. I guess you could say the episode kind of left me disappointed, but like, I'd be lying if I said it was visually bad. Like, visually, this fight is phenomenal. Like, the final clash looks incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it's kind of like Zatanna versus Scarlet Witch, like, visually, except it just didn't have any of the spirit.
Yeah.
Like, I want to put this, like, top of C or bottom of B?
Bottom of B.
Yeah, I think bottom of B is definitely the appropriate place to put it. Dragon Dance is a fun track though.
Oh, yeah, it's really good.
But yeah, like, I guess it does answer the question of can Goku beat Goku in a way. No, I guess I think another thing that makes me kind of laugh is how the main reason Vegeta won was because of how the fusion dance and like Patara earrings work slightly differently, and Vegeta's ever so slightly lower power level was the nail in the coffin.
Man.
This is what is that? Like that one clip from like that one quote from like Dragon Ball Z Abridged when like Vegeta sent to Cell. Is that me? Is that me stronger than me? I'll fucking kill me. Yeah, like with that said, yeah, this is our I guess this is just our overall ranking when it comes to like combining our opinions together. Like, if this wasn't like combining our opinions, there would definitely be a few different placements. Like, personally, I would put, like, as you know, I'd put Tanjiro vs. Jonathan at the very top, and, like, I'd maybe move up Thor vs. Vegeta and Sponge vs. Aquaman, but, yeah, this is how it would rank. Is like, very middle. And as for you?
Trunks vs. Silver, Excalibur vs. Raiden would be S, everything would be, like, B.
Yeah, it's just, like, yeah, but overall, just very solid season, all things considered. And with that said, I guess we can wrap things up now. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for, I guess, for those of you that actually watch, thank you for, like, watching me and the world talk about the animations for the show, and I guess when I upload this, Happy New Year, and we'll see you in, hopefully a couple of months for the next season of Death Battle, as we'll start once again going through over the animations again.
And we'll be seeing you next week when we start with Season 1.
No, we're not. No, we're not doing that. No.
Yes, we are. Don't listen to him.
No, we're not doing that.
Don't listen to
bye.
Don't listen to him.
Bye.